Blox Fruits might be facing its biggest downfall yet. It's one of the most popular Roblox games ever, with billions of visits and peaks of over 2 million players. But today, the cracks are starting to show. Players are calling it too pay to win, updates feel lazy, and even longtime fans are starting to walk away. At the center of it all is a simple question: is Blox Fruits finally dying? In this video, we're breaking down the 5 biggest reasons the game is struggling and why the next few months could decide whether Blox Fruits survives or gets left behind. But before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Alright, back in the day, Blox Fruits was the game everyone talked about. Since it came out in January 2019, it's pulled in billions of visits and even hit 2.7 million players online at once on New Year's Eve 2024. That was its peak. But in 2025, new Roblox games completely took over. Grow a Garden went viral and broke records, hitting over 21 million players online in June and then reaching 22 million in August. Now, compare that to Blox Fruits. Its biggest peak this year was around 1.3 million players in August, and on most days, it sits between 300,000 and 700,000. That's still a lot, but nowhere close to the giants taking over Roblox right now. The truth is, whenever Blox Fruits slows down on updates, players get bored and switch to these new games that keep dropping fresh content every single week. One thing that really annoys the community is when the developers tease cool stuff, but then it never shows up. For example, early in 2023, they hyped a huge map overhaul. Screenshots of new versions of Dressrosa, Punk Hazard, and The Factory got people excited. But fast forward to 2025, and almost none of that has happened. Literally only one small feature from those teasers ever got added. Dressrosa looks exactly like it did in 2019. Punk Hazard, still the same. The Factory hasn't changed either. It's like it never got touched. Players are understandably upset. Waiting 2 years for updates that never arrive makes them feel like the developers forgot or just changed their minds. You can see this frustration everywhere. On Reddit, one player wrote, "What happened to all those updates we were promised back in 2023? It's been 2 years. People still joke that those promises feel fake. Like, the devs only teased them to build hype and then nothing ever came out of it. It's not that the devs don't have the skills or ideas. Maybe they focused on other updates, like the Dragon rework or new fruits, but the fact that the map reworks haven't materialized in 2 years makes every new teaser feel uncertain. Now, fans wonder if the devs are serious or just posting ideas they don't actually plan to deliver. And if delays weren't already bad enough, players now have to deal with a bigger headache: the endless wave of exploiters and bots. Cheating in Blox Fruits has been a problem for years, and even though the devs launched a cheater ban wave in August 2025, it didn't solve much. As soon as some accounts get banned, new ones pop up the next week. It's like a cycle that never ends. Players in the third sea say entire servers are filled with bots, AFK grinders, and alt accounts that auto-farm bosses. On Reddit, some users even posted proof that exploiters can wipe out bosses like Cake Queen in just a few seconds. And if you don't play Blox Fruits, let me tell you, taking down the Cake Queen normally takes a long time, even if you're really good at the game. Others estimate that 30 to 60% of players in certain servers aren't even real people. That's insane. The issue isn't just the bots themselves, but what they do to the grind. Imagine spending hours farming for bounty or items only to see bots do it faster with zero effort. It makes your progress feel less valuable, and it inflates the player count, giving a fake picture of how healthy the game really is. And here's where it ties into the bigger picture. When bots and exploiters dominate, it also affects balance and PvP. Because if some players are scripting or using hacks to farm fruits, the meta quickly gets ruined, which brings us to the next reason Blox Fruits is struggling: balance and meta issues. Even after the dragon fruit got nerfed in update 27, it's still everywhere. Along with Kitsune and Yeti, these fruits dominate PvP with simple combos that can wipe you out in seconds. If you're not using one of them, you're at a serious disadvantage. So what exactly changed? In update 27, Dragon lost stun on normal attacks, had its fury meter reduced, and saw range and damage cuts on several moves. This should have made Dragon weaker, but players weren't happy. Many said it felt too nerfed, almost useless in its base form. Meanwhile, Kitsune continues to run wild, with players begging for a nerf, and Yeti, despite getting multiple nerfs already, is still extremely strong in PvP. Other fruits that used to be decent have dropped so low they're barely worth using anymore. The problem is that balance swings too far every time. One update makes a fruit overpowered, the next makes it unplayable. The devs are trying, but the meta never feels stable. PvP ends up being one-sided. Either you use the best fruit or you get destroyed. Players feel there's no real variety. The same fruits dominate every fight, making PvP feel unfair for casuals and boring for competitive players. And when PvP, one of the biggest parts of the game, isn't fun, people start losing interest. The speed of updates is one of the biggest reasons Blox Fruits feels like it's losing its player base. Back in 2019, the game was alive with constant changes. We got 9 updates in a single year, each adding new fruits, islands, or systems. It felt like every few weeks there was something fresh to grind for. But by 2024, things slowed down a lot. The devs only pushed out 2 updates the entire year, and both came in December, one bringing Dragon and another tied to winter content. After that, silence. No new content for months, and players just drifted away. Then came 2025, and the developers finally tried to fix it with the summer expansion. For the first time ever, they promised weekly updates for 6 weeks straight. And yeah, that sounds amazing. No more long waits, more things to do. But here's the catch. Even with more frequent updates, the content itself has felt pretty mid. Take the Lightning update in late August. When it dropped, the game peaked at about 1 million players online, which sounds good, until you remember the Dragon update peaked at 2.7 million just months earlier. Within days, the player count slipped back to around 300 to 400,000. Why? Because there wasn't much to keep people hooked. The new fishing system with rods and baits was fun, but most players maxed it out in just a day or two. The Lightning event was basically just grinding NPCs you already fight. Sure, the UI rework looked cleaner and the Lightning Fruit rework was actually great, but those alone couldn't carry an entire update. And the Red King event had hype too, but by the end of the week, many players called it empty and repetitive. And that's the problem. Players waited months, sometimes years, just to come back for content that doesn't hold their attention for more than a few days. It kills long-term excitement. Some fans even say they gave up on the game entirely during those long gaps only to return for a week and leave again. And this slowdown doesn't just hurt players, it hurts YouTubers too. Blox Fruits blew up partly because creators made endless videos on it. Showcases, PvP highlights, fruit guides, you name it. But when updates slow down, YouTubers run out of content. Take 2024 for example. There were no major updates for almost a full year. That meant creators had nothing new to show their audiences, so views dropped and many moved on to other games. Meanwhile, games like Pet Simulator or Adopt Me stay alive because small updates give creators something fresh to post every week. If Blox Fruits wants to keep dominating Roblox, it needs to give YouTubers a reason to keep making videos, because without them, hype dies fast. And now, let's talk about one of the most frustrating parts of the new update, the potions. The devs introduced a crafting system where you'd fish up recipes, gather materials, and brew potions at campfires. Sounds cool, right? But most of these effects only last 2 minutes, making them almost pointless when you're hunting bosses or grinding. For example, the Berserker's Elixir Potion gives you plus 10% damage against NPCs, but only for 2 minutes. And it doesn't stop there. Some potions like the Invisibility Potion don't even work properly, while the Monk Potion lasts longer at 10 minutes, but requires several rare fish to make. For most players, it just isn't worth the grind. The community quickly called this filler content. Potions could have been a cool new system, but with bugs and 2-minute timers, they ended up being one of the most disappointing parts of the update. And now, it all comes down to this, the future of the game itself. For the first time ever, the devs are dropping weekly updates, something they admitted they'd never done before. It's clear this change was forced by the competition. Games like Grow a Garden are dominating the charts and setting the pace. Over the next few months, we're supposed to see 4 more updates, all leading into one massive December update, and that one could decide everything. Fans have been waiting a long time for some major changes. First, there's the long-awaited C4 update. Players have been asking for a new C for years, and if it finally drops, it could completely change how the game feels. More islands, more bosses, more areas to explore. This is the kind of expansion that could keep people grinding for months instead of just a few days. Next, a full Control Fruit rework. Control has always been popular, but compared to Dragon, it just doesn't hold up anymore. A proper rework could bring it back as a competitor to the Dragon Fruit. And finally, there's the chance of a brand new fruit designed to compete directly with Dragon. Remember when Dragon first released? Blox Fruits hit over 2 million players in a single day. If December brings something even bigger and better, it could be the update that revives the game completely. Blox Fruits isn't dead yet. With hundreds of thousands of players online every day, it's still one of the biggest Roblox games of all time. But the cracks are showing. Pay-to-win mechanics, broken promises, exploiters, stale PvP, and filler updates are testing the patience of the community. The future of Blox Fruits depends on one thing, whether the devs can listen to the community and deliver meaningful content for both new players and maxed out players. So, what do you think? Can Blox Fruits survive another 5 years? Comment down below. Also make sure to hit like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.